But that war will end, and from there the Straw Hat could take on a new meaning, something more suited to peacetime, and even be the beginning of another 1,000-year-long saga of dreams. The dawn of the world isn't what we thought, and in retrospect it seems almost painfully obvious, especially since Eiichiro Oda has laid out the secrets of this planet across 3 separate arcs now, including Wano, Water 7, and surprisingly, Long Ring Long Land, which contains one of the biggest hidden in plain sight spoilers for the end of One Piece that so very few people notice, and sure, that's all going to be part of it, but this theory suggests that the dawn of the world is going to be quite literal. Because with the revelation that the One Piece planet was subject to a great flood, we now know that over 90% of the world, potentially even closer to 99%, is currently submerged deep in the darkness of the ocean. But as we see when the Straw Hats dive down to get to Fishman Island, the vast majority of this planet sits in pitch black. The kind of darkness that not even Frankie's nipple lights could ever hope to illuminate. This level of the planet is referred to as the underworld, and it has been left deliberately unexplored by Oda. And that's because it holds all of the secrets to the long-lost civilizations of this planet. So when we discuss the dawn of the world, what we could be referring to is a literal dawn, where sunlight manages to reach these areas of the planet for the first time in a millennia. Oda laid out the concept for the entire One Piece world and its future right here, this early on in the series. However, in reality, it is a single island where the vast majority of the landmass is covered in water, with the exception of once a year, where the low tide reveals this hidden land for a couple of hours and allows free travel across the entire island. We have a series of teeny tiny islands penetrating the sea, all inaccessible to one another, whilst in reality they are all connected by this vast land that exists underwater. And what the people of Long Ring Long Land are waiting for is their equivalent of the dawn of the world. That one day a year where they receive the freedom to travel between the islands on foot, which very much plays into Luffy's personal idea of freedom. And we'll get into this idea in a bit, but surely maximum freedom would mean being able to go wherever you want by foot. The idea that Luffy could travel the entire world without needing a navigator to get him across the dangerous waters. And if his desire is to have as much freedom as possible, then we need to drain this ocean. We need to connect every island on this planet in one piece, so that Luffy can go anywhere he wants whenever he wants to. Now, one way of doing this, which is easier said than done, would be to get rid of the red line, after which point the world's oceans would naturally return to their original levels. If he was to create the red line with some sort of ability, then defeating Imu, much like defeating other Devil Fruit users, could lead to the immediate disappearance of the red line. I don't know if it's that simple though, but what I do know is that this would be such a brilliant ending to One Piece, because Luffy's journey would continue. We've spent a quarter of a century exploring less than 1% of this world, and so when the dawn of the world comes about and sunlight touches this lost 99%, if I were Luffy, my immediate desire would be to explore.